Okay, of all the things I could possibly tell you about anything, I think this movie is probably the most important of the entire site, with the exception of the general advice of getting a Mac. We all use a word processor, and most of us use Word, and most of us use it in a way that's really not intended, and it is very inefficient. The difference between the traditional approach you can see here and the styles applied approach is enormous. And once you get used to using styles, you will wonder how you ever used Word before, and it will save you hours upon hours of all sorts of aggravation and allow you to create some really incredible looking documents. So, a style a style set, for example, this is a style set. If you click on traditional approach here, this is in the formatting palette, which is hiding in the toolbox. You get that out right there, and you click on styles. It may be twirled closed, but twirl it open. And this is the style set. Every piece of text on a document has to have a style of some kind. All of it does. For example, to find out what's going on, you click on, say, traditional approach. This is normal plus Latin plus theme headings plus 26 points. This is normal plus italic. This is normal plus bold plus italic, first line indent of a half an inch. So this is the way people normally deal with Word. They put everything in the normal style. Most people, I don't think, ever use these style sets or change things with styles. They just go in here and they kind of select some text and then apply some formatting to it. You know, bold, italic, underline, whatever it may be, right? So you really don't want to do that because it's slow and inefficient. To show the difference, this button right here says show. It's show invisibles. This is what's going on. These are all the tab stops. These are all the hard returns, and this is what it looks like. So if you want to know what a document looks like, what's going on is right here. Now, I highly recommend not doing it this way, and I'll show you why. Here is styles applied. Now, what I did was I made this look, essentially it looks the same. You really can't tell the difference. The only thing that probably should be jumping out at you is this line right here. You're probably wondering how that line get there. And I have to tell you, it's actually very, very easy. But what I did here was instead of using instead of using this sort of approach, what I did was I applied a style. Now this right here, if I click on this is the title. This is case name. This is heading 1. All of these things this is also heading 1. So I want my, in the case of Apprendi, Jones, and Ring, I want the subheadings of Apprendi, Jones, and Ring, which would in reality be several pages apart, to all look identical. And this is how I do it, by designating them a heading, a style, giving them a style. Now, heading 1, 2, and 3 are very important because those are the ones that are linked to automatic table of contents, and I'll show you that in a second. But now what styles do for you is this. Now you'll notice here, if we look over here, this right here is a hard return in here. This is but there is no hard return in here. There's nothing there. What's going on? Now this is something that I fixed for many people. They're typing along, and they're going along, and they can't, and they press enter, and then it makes a big space, and they press enter again. It's too big of a space. It looks ridiculous. What's going on? So the first thing they do is they highlight this stuff here, and then go to alignment and go to single space, and they click single space. Nothing happens. What the hell is going on? Well, I'll tell you that what's going on is that spacing is part of the style, the paragraph style. Everything about everything is controlled with the style. So to fix it, what I would do is I would simply click on it here, and it will highlight. It'll put a little. Whenever you click on something, it shows you what the style is here, the current style, and it highlights it in here. Now, on either one, you can simply click on the right side and click Modify Style. So, to get to the part that's driving people crazy with this spacing, you go down to this bottom part here. It's Format Paragraph. This is where it comes from. This is the spacing after a hard return. What Word wants to do, the way it wants to work, is it wants you to type along and have all of the stuff in that paragraph be treated the same way. And then when you click return, it wants to put in spaces for you, so you don't have to put in double spaces or try to line up your document using hard returns, because it creates extra items in the document, and it and you may have run into problems with it yourself. You don't know why things are moving around the way they are, and everything goes crazy. You press return on page 5, and on page 20 something crazy happens, and you have no idea, and then you print it. You're like, what the hell happened? Well, it was probably because there was too many hard returns and so forth. So this is where it comes from, after and before. This is the space before the normal starts, and this is the space after it. So you could bump this down to 0, and watch this piece right here. See how it jumps up? It jumps together. Now, I like it the way I had it, so I'm going to go back to paragraph and say that I want that, because when I make a hard return, I want a space to be there. Now it goes in multiples of 6s here, but you can type in what you want. So 80, don't want 80, just do 8, let's say. And that puts the space in there, and I can live with that. So that's where that comes from, and that's part of what styles is about. So to create a style, now here's what it's useful for. Now, instead of going through and italicizing each case name, what I did was I simply highlighted something, I applied the formatting that I wanted, which was the italics, and then I clicked New Style. And then I named it case name 2. Okay? And that's where case name came from, because of course Word doesn't ship with something called case name. But that's where it comes from. So what you can do now that you have everything formatted in this particular style, you can change it all at once. Let's say I'm working with someone. I found out the judge hates italicized case names and likes underlining. So I can go back and I can switch everything manually, or I can just go to case. I can click on one of them and see that case name comes up. Click on case name and modify style. Then I could take this, I could italicize it, and I could underline it, take off the italics, and click OK. And now you can see all 3 of them changed. The same thing works for headings. Modify style. Let's say I want that indent a little bigger or smaller. You go to left indent and make it bigger. And you can see they all jump out and they all do it together. So that's how it works. Now the other cool thing that we always do that is very important for us is tables of contents. Now on this one, I don't know what you do for a table of contents. Basically, I think what people do is they look at the page, when they get done writing something, they look at the page where it comes up, and then they manually type the table. That's horrendous. So to do a table of contents, simply put the cursor somewhere, go to Document Elements, or you can go to Insert, Document Elements, Table of Contents. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go Table of Contents. We're going to pick one that we like here. Let's see what else is available. There's a couple more that are available. Probably the first one is probably the best. It's traditional. And there you go. And it inserts the table of contents. Now if you wanted to make this also part of the table of contents, highlight it and go to the toolbox and say, let's make it heading 2. Heading 2 looks a little nasty. Maybe we want to change it. We don't like the way it looks. We will modify it here. We'll make it black. And go back up to the table. Click on it and see this little thing. This control comes up. Click on the side here to update the table. Update the entire table. Okay. And there you have it. It's perfectly formatted. Of course, I go over tables separately, and I suggest you take a look at that. But that is styles, and that is the heart and soul of Word. It gives us consistency. It gives us control. It gives us predictability. And the next movie, we're going to make a template of, we're going to use the built-in stuff that Microsoft gave us to just get this all done really fast.